All right. Well, it looks like we are live. Finally, had a little technical difficulties, but we're back for the Heat Magnets. We'll just call it the first season, first episode. I'm the flamboyant one, Jason Crow, and with me here's Johnny Spade.
What's going on, Wrestling World?
He is back in action, and we also have Rockstar Ronnie Jonah here.
Hello.
There she is. So we're gonna talk a little bit about wrestling today and all the stuff that's been going on, from the draft to the Backlash pay-per-view to all the stuff leading into Night of Champions. So it's been eventful lately. That is for sure. So I guess we can start with the draft. I know, Spade, it looks like you had some thoughts on the draft going into it.
I did. I thought they did a great job. I was worried about it because, when it came to Vince McMahon doing the draft, it didn't always pan out. And after a while, they stayed away from it. But I think what Triple H was able to do with the diversity of the way they did it, with especially bringing in the new belt, I think that's going to help. Keeping Rhea Ripley and Judgment Day, it's a hell of a draw on Raw, and keeping the Bloodline legit still on SmackDown. I think that's a good division to keep people interested from day to day. I thought they did a good job on the draft.
Yeah, I think it's a good reset. It's a good kind of a start over, and kind of, I guess, Triple H a little bit more in control these days. So that's for better or for worse. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, I feel like it's been better so far. Seems like Vince has got a little bit more hands-on these days. But
yeah, I'm not sure. So it seemed that way that Monday after Raw. I thought, oh shit, here we go again. And it wasn't a normal Monday that they put on after a WrestleMania.
No, that was
it was whack, man.
It was very disconnected from WrestleMania.
It was, and I thought from that point on, it was known that the fan base does not need him back right now. Triple H is doing a great job, and I know, Ronnie, you probably want to speak on it. I'll let you, but I thought so far you're starting to see that again. And I thought that night they realized, especially with the new company Endeavor, that no, it's not a good idea to have it involved in creative in any kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah, Ronnie, you have thoughts on the Raw after WrestleMania?
Oh, it was so disjointed. I was very confused what was going on. And that's, you told me that Vince was in there with his stupid hand in there again. Which, don't get me wrong, he's been obviously carrying this whole thing forever, but
right.
I only started watching again because of how much better it's been.
Yeah, the Raw after WrestleMania is usually like that's the show to watch, and then I think that was the only one that Vince was in control of, and I would say in control. He just had a lot more input in. It was very disconnected from the storylines that were going on. And I think you're right, Spade. I think they kind of realized that, and I think maybe it's because of the backlash of the fans, afterwards. Like they were very vocal on social media afterwards. So, and it looks like there was a reset, and now it's been a good time for the draft to kind of let's just reset it all and get down to business.
It's given more opportunities on a reset after Mania as well, from the call-ups from NXT, guys getting new opportunities. So I'm interested to see what they're doing. And so far, ever since that Monday night, I've been on point with it. I think it's been great.
Yeah. Now, so I guess we can talk. I'll kind of go over who was drafted where. I've got the list here. We're a little bit behind. We're trying to catch up here. So, but of course, Raw, Cody Rhodes was drafted, and they've kind of separated him from Roman Reigns since he did not win the big one, and that was kind of surprising, which we talked about on our WrestleMania episode.
Yet not surprising.
Everybody thought he was going to win. I think
when he didn't win, though, I was like, "Oh yeah, of course he wasn't going to win." So.
I wasn't keen on it. I don't know yet.
No, I didn't love it.
Yeah, especially with the new company buying in. I think we talked about that on the show after Mania a little bit.
Yeah. Where that they, the company Endeavor, I'm sure they want Roman, kind of
Yeah,
leading
of
the way
course.
right now, and I think story wise, and they've made a good choice at this point. I think now we've kind of seen that because where was Cody going to go after he won the belt? You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, what happens there? Where's the story? Like, he's a guy that chases. I think
Yeah, he needs to
for
do
now.
more chasing.
Yeah, Lesnar's a good spot for him right now. I'm glad they didn't in the tournament put him in the title picture for the new one because it makes it a secondary title.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm glad that they're giving him a storyline that means something for right now, and he could go for that or with Roman later down the road. I know they're on opposite shows at the moment, but they always figure out a way in these storylines
Yeah, he should
to
go
do
back that
something.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He needs to wrap that up.
I think Brock is because I mean, if Cody were just to get in and win this new belt that they've created, then
That'd be
it's just
silly.
like a consolation prize. It's like
for sure.
your participation trophy. So obviously they didn't go that route, and having him in a high profile with Brock Lesnar still makes
I
him
think it's
very
been fun.
valid. Yeah, I think it's been better. And of course, like Imperium, which Gunther, Ludwig, and Giovanni. And of course, it's all about Gunther right now. Soon to be the longest reigning Intercontinental champion, and he's been very, very impressive. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with that. So
He's giving the other guys an opportunity to shine, rubbing off him right now, though. So I think overall it's a great group. I'm glad that Triple H decided to kind of bring in the third member and make it the legit Imperium versus someone who was just introducing Gunther.
Right.
So, and I really enjoy what they're doing with him, and I don't see him going anywhere outside of main eventing, whether it be with the Intercontinental title, what he has now, or after that, he moves up from there. I think Gunther is just he's solid, man.
Yeah. Ronnie and I were just watching this most recent Raw, and Kevin Owens kind of going off and
Yeah.
being a little bit crazy. Like I think he popped Gunther a little bit. I'm pretty sure I saw a little
That
bit
was
of
really
Kevin
funny,
Owens is
though.
notorious for that, man.
Yeah. Gunther was just kind of smiling, just which is completely out of character for him.
Yeah.
And of course, they played it off like it was kind of a sarcastic smile.
Like
but
you
no,
have to when somebody makes you laugh.
yeah, but he definitely popped him, I thought, and but
It was funny.
yeah, but
That's
Gunther's
it.
been great. I think that's he's a good draw for Monday Night Raw.
He is. Sammy and Kevin feed off each other's chemistry, and they're
So
trying
well,
to
yeah.
pop each other. So
Yes.
instead of pop, it's going to carry over. Like I personally, I have been popped many times where I shouldn't,
Yeah.
and it's if the chemistry's there, it's very easy to break.
Yeah, and of course,
It's been very fun.
Yeah, Sammy and Kevin are best friends. Sammy was like during that whole initial bloodline stuff, he was popping everybody. Like even Solo,
so
who's supposed to be like no emotion at all.
That was fun.
It's almost like that was his goal every night,
And I think I feel like that's kind of what made that bloodline stuff so fun to
It
watch
did.
because it was
That's
all
what
very
made me watch.
organic. Yeah, because I think that's how I got you back in. I think because
I didn't really care until that point.
Yeah, I showed you the
It was
video
so
of where
much
Sammy
fun.
just popped everybody in the ring in front of a live audience.
It reminds me of the Attitude Era, man. It's like they all used to do that to each other.
Yeah.
Like, usually after the show, you'd see The Rock and Stone Cold go back and forth, or Stone Cold in the office with Undertaker and Vince trying to pop Taker. It was always who can get him the break,
Yeah, I think
I love
Kurt
that.
Angle was he'd done that a time or two as well.
Right.
Kurt's by far one of the best ever.
Fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me go down the list here of Monday Night Raw. We had the Cody Rhodes draft, Becky Lynch, Imperium, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, which there's some stories going on with him. The Miz, Shinsuke, which looks like he's going to be getting a push. Indy Hartwell from NXT, Apollo Crews, Candice LeRae, Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green, Dexter Lumis, JD McDonough, who I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he's going to do.
Yeah. I'm interested.
Maximum Male Models, Natalia, Viking Raiders, Zoe Stark, who's going to be interesting to watch, Rhea Ripley, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, Jesus, there's so many. Raquel, The New Day, Trish Stratus, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Bronson Reed, Alpha Academy. Kaden Carter, Akira, Emma.
I like
Holy
them.
Lord, there was a lot
She
going
used
on
to
here.
be Katie Catanzaro, but I think they changed it to something else.
Yeah, and she's from the American Ninja, right, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and they're really best friends
really?
in real life, so they got good chemistry as well, especially on social media. I like them. I think it was time for them to come up.
Yeah, and then you got people like Johnny Gargano, Odyssey Jones, Nikki Cross.
Yeah,
so that's Raw. So
Raw.
it's a pretty good roster of people. I'm guessing, and of course they've made the new title to, obviously have something for Monday Night Raw to kind of fight over, which is so Night of the Champions are going to find out, is it going to be AJ Styles or is it going to be Seth Rollins? I think we've probably all pretty much assumed now that it's going to be Seth, right?
Yeah, we sure
Like,
do.
I mean, if it's AJ, are they gonna bring him over to Raw?
yeah, I think whoever wins is coming to Raw.
Because then you've got to bring the Good Brothers, his whole little
the
group,
whole OC, yeah.
because they're not going to just leave them hanging on SmackDown. So
Right.
it makes sense, obviously, for them to go with Seth Rollins, and he deserves it. To be quite honest, I mean, he could carry a show with that roster.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody's going to be mad that if AJ were to win. I don't think anybody's going to be like, "Oh, AJ, no." But
right, for sure.
I mean,
No.
but I don't think. I think they kind of maybe. I get that it's going to be a good match, and both are viable champions. But I think the story was Seth and Edge, because Edge has that whole story of I've got to win, I've got to be champion because this is my story, and I'm going to win it. When I lose it, that's it. I'm retiring. That was his whole thing that he recently said.
I've got some backstage news on that. So I don't know if this is true, obviously, because I've never read it for myself. But I think Edge has it in his contract this last run that he does not want any major titles.
Huh.
He doesn't.
No, he does not.
Okay.
So I don't think now. Not to say that could be changed. If maybe he mentioned that, it's not in his clause. But I think he's just coming back to kind of do some bucket list storylines, put some things away, and he doesn't want to take away from the new guys that they can build on.
That makes sense.
That's cool. I mean, that's cool. That's a veteran thing to do, which is to put over new talent or whatever. And of course, in the match to get there, it was Edge, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles, which was like a combined 90 years of talent in the ring.
And you know what? They had a good match, dude.
It was definitely good.
What to do with each other's athleticism with their age, and still they made it work. It showed their experience, I thought.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just think that the story would have been Edge and Seth. One, they have a history already. Two, that's just because I think people after Edge dropped that little video online that he just filmed on his phone. I think people were like, "Oh, I think I might want Edge to win," and so I felt like that became the story. Then Edge versus Seth, and then Seth win. I just thought there'd be a little bit more story there.
I would have preferred that, but I wouldn't have hated probably most people going against that. Like anyone would have been good.
Yeah, well, I think everybody that they put in the tournament is very viable champion. So, but so there we are, and I'm assuming unless they swerve us, which
they
Triple
could.
H has.
I don't think they will, but they might.
Triple H likes to do some things sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed he likes to run with. Vince McMahon did the opposite. If you were in your hometown, he usually buried you.
Yeah.
I know Triple H has been putting over. I know when they did the Backlash, the girl that wrestled Rhea, what's her name? Why did I forget her name?
Zelina.
Zelina, thank you. I don't know why.
That was such a good match.
Yeah, it was. The crowd was so involved, and I don't think you understand how much that makes it better. And for Mustafa Ali to win the Battle Royal, he's going to be wrestling Gunther out in Saudi Arabia.
He's not going to win, but it's going to be beautiful.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Did you say he's beautiful?
No, he is beautiful, but no, I said it's going to be beautiful.
It will be. I agree. I think he knows that Triple H knows the camera or the crowd, I'm sorry, really carry over to the energy, and it
Yeah,
resonates in
absolutely.
television.
That made
So
that show so much better.
Oh yeah.
exactly, Carlito. I mean,
Oh my God, that was
Salvio
so
Vega.
good.
Did you know Carlito too, Ronnie?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I did
yes.
too. I did too.
Yeah, that was so
I,
exciting.
I think I was his first angle when he got signed with WWE.
Oh, that's amazing. So
His
is he going to be back
short hair,
more?
wore a headband and everything.
Are we going to get more of him, or was that just a one-off?
I don't know because they did that with him in a Royal Rumble, Bubby, a year ago, year and a half, or 2 years
Oh
ago,
yeah.
and then they didn't use him after that. But Vince was in
Yeah.
control, so
Mhm.
it might be a one-off. I mean, he looks great. I think.
I do too. I hope we get more of him. That was exciting.
Yeah, I think he definitely looked better than he has looked in quite a while.
He looks like a man
Savio
now.
got such a big pop. Like Savio got a
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
huge
man.
pop. Like I think that how they used to call it like the Road Warrior pop. They might have to call it the Savio pop after that. Like
Dude,
Yeah,
he's
that
in
was
Puerto
pretty good.
Rico, man.
It's the
And
power of being in your town.
I know
yeah,
we've talked about having some people on, and Trailer Park Trash and Flash Flanagan worked for Dutch out there with and Savio Vega in Puerto Rico for a while, and Trash has got some great stories about Puerto Rico and their wrestling heritage and what he went through personally. And if we ever have him on, it's a good listen.
yeah, yeah. It was. I mean the show in Puerto Rico Backlash. It was a good show. It was a lot of fun, a lot of high
It was
energy. I
exciting.
definitely enjoyed everything that happened there. Like it was all and
Mhm.
I think that's a lot. Triple H is very smart about where they're going to be
That
and
was so
who.
good. That made
It
it so
was.
much better.
Yeah,
I
like
think
who.
Rhea did an interview and said that she was so emotional seeing Selena get the pop and her get emotional. She was
Yes.
trying to stay Rhea Ripley and,
Mm-hmm.
and not be Demi her name or not be herself because she felt
Yeah.
so good for her.
Oh, it was so amazing. Like, obviously, she's not going to be Rhea Ripley, but like that was amazing.
Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah.
And Rhea's on top, man.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
of the whole
yeah.
of the whole
She's on
company.
top.
Yeah.
If you just watch this most recent Raw, like when they got into the ring with Sammy and Kevin and Rhea, and I get that there's some piped in
But
audience stuff
also,
happening, but like as soon as Rhea talked, like she was getting cheers, like
yeah.
she's
It's
kind of
such a
becoming like
different
the
reaction.
anti.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
goes from her. It's such a contrast from her to Dom Dom.
Oh, I know. I
yeah,
love it so much.
yeah,
Oh my
It's
god.
which is
perfect.
great. Yeah,
It's beautiful,
yeah,
Yes.
and
it's
they feed off of each other. And it's
Mm-hmm. What a dream.
yeah, and Dom is getting that crazy heel heat right now. Like
Yes. Oh, he's
now,
doing so good.
Ronnie and I were kind of watching the audience, so it definitely looks like some stuff is piped in.
Oh, how about the
And
audience from what did we watch last time where the audience seemed
I think it was that
non-existent?
SmackDown.
it
Yeah,
was.
Oh,
I believe it
SmackDown,
was
yeah.
SmackDown.
yeah, that
It was so.
Like what was
Um,
happening in that
like you
audience?
have to do it that. Like I don't know where they were at, but I
I
thought,
forget.
man, did we tone it down a little? Like you're making it real obvious.
well, and it was so difficult to
Yes.
like come out of Puerto Rico
Oh yeah.
at that very exciting crowd and then go anywhere else and that's why they really started piping in some
Oh,
audience noise.
or it might have been the Raw too. They were in Jacksonville last week,
Yeah,
which is
Yeah.
where AEW started, and Cody Rhodes was coming off of the show he did with Lesnar, and I just didn't think Jacksonville being an AEW home, and Tony Khan, he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, him and his
right.
dad. I could see them maybe trying to pipe in something for them, but yeah, it might have been SmackDown. Either way, that's something I just noticed on the side.
Yeah, yeah. That crowd was pretty dead, and I think anything was going to sound dead after Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
That's true.
And they, I don't, and like Rhea coming out and just like getting that like almost that stone cold anti-hero.
Yes.
She's supposed to be bad, but they're still cheering her. It's like, and I've already said that she's kind of transcended.
Oh, absolutely.
Specifically, I would say like women's wrestling. When they like to put title like women's wrestling, I think she could get in the ring with guys and
she's just a
nobody
star.
would bat an eye. Like,
Regardless if you're in the men's or the women's division, if you cross a line and you become just an entity in your own, and she's getting to that level, I think.
She is that level.
Yeah. Thank you. She's right. You're right. It's hard for me to say that because she's been there for 4 or 5 years, but you can't deny it.
No, you really cannot.
no,
I see people talk about her in circles that they're like, "Oh, I've never watched wrestling, but we know who she is."
I know that's crazy for as long as she's been doing it.
Yeah, that's really the epitome of what you want in wrestling. Like you know, because obviously you want to get reactions. And her and Dom Dom are definitely getting them. The only time I've ever seen, like, because Dom's getting all kinds of heat, but
dude, he's getting love heat. I love it.
Yeah, and it's like the only time I've seen that, because like I say, I've noticed they're piping in some stuff for Dom, but he is getting that heat too. But like Tommaso Ciampa when he was the Blackheart in NXT,
I remember that.
And man, like I've never seen anything like him, like coming out and just being booed nonstop, would not let him speak. Like, and it was like he started coming out to no music.
Yeah, I remember.
As soon as he put the mic up, they boo louder, and he just dropped the mic and just leave. And like it was over. Like people loved it. I loved it. Like Tommaso was one of my favorites for sure. Like, man, and Dom Dom I think is getting to that point of that.
I like how we just call him Dom Dom now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fun.
It is. Like I can't call him Dominic Mysterio. It's got to be Dom Dom.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been real interesting. And now he doesn't have a match at Night of Champions, right? Like the Judgment Day, they're not in the Night of Champions at all. I don't believe.
You know, I love their group.
That seems.
I love the unselfishness.
Yeah.
How Damian Priest didn't have a match on Mania, but backed them all up. Then he came back and had that match with Bad Bunny, and his group just backed him 100%. Like no one tries to overshadow the other. They all glue together very well. And I don't think they have to all be on one show. I think that you can have one on, and during that segment, they're all just they're a force, man. I really like them.
Yeah, yeah. I think the Judgment Day is definitely probably the hottest faction right now.
By far, of course.
Yeah, and I agree. Like they definitely are. They're not selfish. Like they're all giving each other time. I know Damian Priest after his match with Bad Bunny was kind of getting accolades specifically from the powers that be in WWE for carrying.
Yeah, and his peers. Good for him, man. I've heard good things about him. I've never met the guy. But I mean, for me, but.
He definitely has all the tools. Like he's a big guy, which obviously Vince likes. He's a good-looking guy. He's okay on the mic. He definitely stumbles a time or two, but I think he'll get there. Because he's definitely smart. So I think on the mic, once he really gets that rolling, I think he'll definitely be somebody that, if anything, he'll get in that Intercontinental picture. I think.
I agree. I think they could give them all a belt eventually. I don't know if they go tag team champs with the other two, and with maybe Finn and Damian, or Finn and Dom Dom, and then and then give one or the other one the Intercontinental. But I see all four of them holding the title at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And now, now there's rumors, and then nothing's been confirmed, that JD McDonough, who has just come over from NXT, and he was in NXT UK, then he came over to NXT over here, and now he's on Raw. Rumors that he might become a part of the Judgment Day, and he'd be a good fit. And I could definitely see a good tag team with like him and Finn. And Finn is the guy who trained him. So,
right. I didn't like it at first, and then I saw his work last night and the transition from his character. Yeah. And I thought, okay, I might be able to get with this. I think I underestimated him, but from what he showed last night, he definitely wasn't somebody they made a mistake bringing up. He put on a good first show. He didn't do too much, but he made a good impact, and I like the confidence he had afterwards on the mic.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, that's the key. Is like as soon as you transition, anytime they give you a mic, like you've got to get the audience, and it's hard for somebody that. I mean, a lot of people, even though NXT is a WWE brand, a lot of people don't watch NXT. So I know some people assume if they're on NXT, well, everybody knows who they are, and that's not the case. So you got to make a statement. And
I
he's
thought he did well. I don't
yeah,
usually get on
Yeah.
board with people quickly, but I was on board pretty fast.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the first time you've ever seen him, right? Like,
Yeah, ever.
Ronnie, if I've seen him a couple years back, and every time I saw him, he looked green or he just wasn't prepared. But from what I saw last night, it's totally different than when he tried
Seems
to
ready.
make a debut a couple years back.
Yeah.
Like he's a world apart. So whatever he did down there at NXT, it's worked for him because I think he's ready now more than he ever was.
I look forward to seeing more.
Yeah, he'll be a good addition to if they do that, and maybe they just want to let him run on his own a little bit and see what he can do instead of leaning on the shoulders of other people. And maybe that's how he wants it. Maybe he wants to prove to everybody that he can do it. But really good in ring talent. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got going on. Was there anybody that you were surprised, either of you, that was drafted to Raw?
I don't know, Ronnie. Do you? Let me think on that for a second.
Because there's some people like I didn't expect them to move over Indy Hartwell from NXT.
Yeah, she's been there for a little bit, and I think they were trying to bring her back up with Dexter and the Way, which is, and kind of just put them together. Because I've noticed Triple H's theme is kind of doing a faction thing. He'll get 4 or 5 people in a group together, which is what they do in AEW, and I think that's popular. People like that. I mean, in UFC they do that now. Everybody walks out with their training companions, and it's a reoccurring theme. But for the most part, I like Indy. I do. But other than that, I wasn't. But they looked great yesterday, I guess. But they killed some jobbers. Those guys from where are they from? Are they from Saudi Arabia or?
Oh yeah,
with Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, the guys with Jinder. Yeah, they're monsters.
I didn't realize they were 6'8". One of them.
Yeah,
like that's a big boy.
Wild.
Yeah, they're definitely going to push them as monsters. I'm surprised that they're not. And maybe they will make an appearance at Night of Champions. Maybe they'll run a dark match or something. I don't know, but they're definitely those guys. They were pretty impressive in NXT. So we'll see what happens with them. Now, were they moved over to SmackDown?
I think they were on Raw last night.
I
think they squashed a couple jobbers in a minute.
You know what? We watched Raw on Hulu, so they might have cut that match out.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what somebody I was surprised on. Maybe I don't know how you say surprised, but they went fast in the draft, and I was like, okay, because they never blew me away, but they were decent workers, I guess. That Alba Fire and the tag team champions on NXT.
Yeah,
I was surprised at how high they went before a lot of people I thought were more deserved, but that could have been not based on the actual draft position, but where they needed them to be.
Well, I think they have a good gimmick in the sense of where
the
they're from.
And
it's Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, I believe.
Yes.
They
seem to have good chemistry.
Yeah, and I don't think Ronnie's really ever seen them.
No, never. But I look forward to it.
Other than just like they would show them watching the match.
Mm-hmm.
One of the girls I think looks kind of like you, Ronnie. One of the ladies is. I think it's Isla Dawn. She's got the red hair. You'll see.
Yeah, and she
just does. And I think
she's in the witchcraft.
I could be. Yep, she does she's kind of laid. She's a little more loud. I don't know. She's got that laid back personality that you have. You'll see. Tell me.
I'm excited to see.
I didn't know who she was until they put her with Alba Fire, and then I watched her work, and I'm like, okay, she can go. I was wondering if she'd been in the Indies before she worked for NXT because I'd never heard of her.
Yeah, I think they both had been, and then they were in NXT UK for a little while,
I'm excited
uh,
about him.
and then moved over to NXT, and they did from when they were put together because they were enemies at first, and then put together as a tag team. And as soon as they did that, it wasn't long until the draft, and here they are. So I think they've got a good look, a good gimmick. They're good in the ring,
Yeah.
so we're curious to see where they go with them. And so, like, yeah, we can get into who was kind of drafted over on SmackDown here. Of course, you have the entire bloodline and Bianca Belair, Street Profits, Edge, Bobby Lashley, the OC, Damage Control, which I was actually surprised. I thought they were going to split up the Damage Control.
I heard that too.
And they just ended, and they really moved all factions over together. There's really nobody that they split up, which usually they use it to split people up. But
Right.
this time around, they didn't do that. Austin Theory, of course, the LWO, Asuka, Brawling Brutes, Karrion Kross, who hasn't been doing much. So
I don't know what's going on with that, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if they start doing cuts, which are a thing that usually comes up around this time of year, he might.
Yeah, and I don't want to. If you ever hear this, or if he ever hears it for any reason, and I've met Scarlett Bordeaux many times on many shows, and I'm not knocking him because I think he's got all of the tools to be the best, and I don't know what's missing right now. Because
I think it's.
Go ahead.
I think it's the in-ring work, and it's not. And I'm not saying that he can't obviously do in-ring, but he does that kind of old school style of wrestling where and I think the audience today are more into like the really fast-paced stuff and stuff that's really impactful and not much of like a grounded kind of wrestling that he does. And I think maybe that might be the disconnect for his character because he's a good-looking guy. He's good on the mic. Like he's
great entrance.
Yeah, the entrance is great. I think they've slacked off on his entrance compared to NXT with the fog and the all that stuff that they had going, which because he was over in NXT. He had the
absolutely.
And that entrance was what really helped.
He did. He had that great feud with Adam over at AEW.
Well, Adam Cole.
Adam Cole. I'm sorry. Yeah, Adam Cole, baby. Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
And so
that was good stuff, and I liked his work down there. I think he worked Samoa Joe. I think that was a good little run as well.
Yeah, Joe's one of my favorites of all time.
Joe's good, man.
Yeah, I just love watching that dude just bulldozer over people. So I don't know if maybe Karrion can do something. Maybe they give him a chance to just let him do his thing as opposed to whatever it is they're doing right now. And then you've got kind of the opposite in the LA Knight, who came over. They put him in a feud with Bray Wyatt while he was still here, and pretty much they were just trying to feed him to Bray. It was somebody that they knew is quote unquote a good hand or whatever they want to say, and could make Bray look good, and he ended up outshining Bray.
Yes, he did.
Which I didn't know much about. I knew him from Impact a little bit.
That was the first time I saw him
in NXT, but like I don't know if I was ever sold on him per se until he came over to Raw and they got in that, and I was like, wait a minute, this guy, because I love Bray Wyatt, I love the gimmick and the characters and stuff like that.
I thought that was such a waste, though.
Yeah, and then I was watching LA. I was like, how's this guy being more entertaining?
Like, who is this, and why is he like intriguing to watch?
Yeah, he's just good. He was doing great stuff, and I hear they might give him a push now that he's over.
I mean, I don't see how they can't. If he ever listens to this, I'm not knocking him either. It's just I've been around this guy a lot, many years. I think he's everything Rob Conway wanted to be.
Oh
yeah.
Well, Rob, I'm not knocking you. You're a great worker, but it's that's where
I can see similarities.
They're a lot similar, and Rob, stayed at this level, and if he could have gotten that mic ability that I think he was able to have, that LA Knight has.
Yeah, because LA like
him over the time.
As soon as LA gets out there, I mean, it's just he just has a whole charisma, a whole aura
He
about
really
him.
does.
That,
It catches you quickly.
yeah, he really exudes that energy that that's what draws people in. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with him. Of course, who
Me
else
too.
came over? Cameron Grimes came over, and he
He had a good
immediately
little debut. Yeah,
he beat Baron Corbin
they're
and
real high
Oh,
on him.
that guy.
Triple H is real high on him, and Shawn
on
Michaels.
Cameron. Yeah, well,
Yeah, he's been
he was
okay.
good in
Yeah.
Impact, so and then he was good in NXT.
He could be a Dolph Ziggler type, I think, with a great career. Good worker, good work, got good
He could
matches.
be,
He's entertaining. You know.
yeah.
Do I
Yeah,
see?
I don't know how far it could go. Like, I'm not sure.
Right. Like, does he get to the level of someone like Roman Reigns? No. But
No.
did he be?
Not many people do.
Can he be a mainstay? I mean, that's a great job. I mean, it's. I would have loved to have had that job. Just that probably would have. If I would have ever got called up, it's what I would have done. I would have probably sat there and made people look good. But if I could do it for 5-10 years, could have made some good money.
Yeah.
And he's definitely a good talent. I'm curious to see where the gimmick goes because he's the to the moon.
Right.
Made some good cryptocurrency. That's like the gimmick.
That's his gimmick.
That's what it was. And I noticed when he came over because it kind of changed at NXT. That's kind of what
did he hold
was.
He held the $1 million belt for him.
Wow. Yeah. So at first he came out, he's like kind of really grimy and a little cowboyish. And then
he's been on a journey.
They did. He did. I think they even hung it. It was a ladder match, and he might have won that from LA Knight.
He did. It was him and LA Knight. Yeah.
And they were putting him over, and Vince McMahon said make him look a little more classier because the beard was everywhere and his hair was everywhere.
Yeah. He looked a whole lot like the Skinner. I remember when he kind of first came out, and then they they cleaned him up, and then they put him in the $1 million belt. Ted DiBiase came over in NXT.
That's a shoot, Ronnie.
Yeah,
that's I think the notes when you would go to sites would be like, well, they're trying to clean him up a little bit, make him look a little prettier.
So the gimmick became he made the good cryptocurrency moves and made some money.
Journey. His character's been on a journey,
and then he kind of transitioned out of that a little bit. Was trying to become just something else.
Does he
that was neither of those things.
Tips?
I don't know. But I noticed when he came out for his debut, they had mentioned on the little banner that cryptocurrencies something. So it seems like they might go that route again, and maybe they do the whole. Ted DiBiase $1 million belt thing on SmackDown because why not? Sometimes they do redo stuff that they maybe did.
It was over. They might back off of it give it a year or so, and I'd say that just because of everything that's going on with his son right now.
Yeah. There's a lot going on with Ted DiBiase. He was junior, right?
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, it's that's a mess right there.
Didn't do it, but
yeah. Well, and now the new guy who this coming SmackDown, Grayson Waller.
I like him.
He had, and they're immediately throwing him out there with his own show. I think it's the Grayson Waller.
I didn't know that they had that on NXT. I'll tell you what, he was one of the only ones that I would fast forward to when he was on. I like his work. He's real confident and super. He reminds me of a kind of a more athletic version of Miz when he started.
Yeah, well, and he's like to take somebody from NXT and immediately put them on like SmackDown or or just the major brand as it is, and immediately give him his show where he's going to be on the mic and talking to whomever it is they're going to put him in a thing with. Like that shows me that they have a lot of faith in.
They've got some faith in him.
Yes, he can go as far as if he keeps doing what he's doing. I don't think there's a limit for him.
Yeah, I think I don't really like his gimmick myself, but I know I know he has the talent, and I know he can go
his
far
gimmick
with it.
is just heelish, Ronnie. It's just It's not that. That's the confidence in his mic skills. I think he can make anything work.
Yeah, and I think that he will, and I think obviously it seems like they have the confidence that he will because I don't know of anybody
Yeah.
that's come over, from NXT and been able to just go right into I have my own show.
I
I'm
have
gonna
my own
talk to
show.
you
Yeah,
guys.
that's wild.
That's pretty crazy. So I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah.
And then he also drinks out of his shoe.
No, what?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's about.
Not the shoe off his
Is that
foot.
an
I hope.
Australian thing?
I don't know.
I mean, they used to do that in the 1800s in Texas, but I mean, shit.
It's very strange. Now, somebody I'm surprised that didn't come over was Carmelo Hayes.
I think they need to keep a couple people down there for USA Network, and I think they did that with him and Braun Baker just a little longer.
Yeah,
because they're ready. They were both. Well, Braun Baker not as much, but which is Steiner's boy.
right.
But definitely Carmelo Hayes is ready. But I think they need him. They need to keep somebody down there to be their main guy. And Sean's really been a huge mentor to him. So I think that right now, until they get someone to fill that void, he's going to be their mainstay down there.
Yeah. It's just, I just kind of thought that MVP is kind of going to bring back the the Hurt. Was it?
I think that would be cool.
Hurt business, and I heard that he might be a part of it.
I think that'd be great.
I'm kind of curious to see if that happens. But yeah, so that's the draft. That's everybody that's kind of been
But
pulled
I just
over.
have a question.
Yeah.
So he drinks out of a shoe?
Yes.
Out of the shoe that he has on his foot? Like, how does does he
sometimes
bring a
he
shoe?
takes that shoe off.
He takes his shoe off his foot and drinks out of it?
But it's not a gimmick. Like, he didn't do it all. You got
so he just does that?
It's more like a celebration thing. He did it when he got drafted.
But like, does he pour liquid into the shoe, or does the shoe already have a liquid that he's somehow hidden in his shoe?
No, he poured like if
he
something
pulls it up
happens,
on the screen, so I didn't see him actually slide it off his foot. But
not in that one, but I've seen him do it before.
Outside,
and then pours a liquid into it that he then puts in his body.
Yeah, it's usually like champagne or something.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I put a lot of crazy things in my body, so I'm not going to.
Maybe it's an old Greg reference.
I stuck on a few toes or something. I don't know.
maybe it's an old Greg reference. Maybe he's old
wrestling
Greg.
people. I'm just lying, or am I?
Or you're not.
Maybe I am, or maybe I am.
He is.
So yeah, that's what's happening with him. Yeah, and then so that's been, and basically so they've kind of moved on from the draft, and so the storyline's been going. They've got Sammy and Kevin as the tag team champions, and now they've carried because I was wondering where that was going to go, because like I felt like Sammy and Kevin were kind of losing some steam.
You did?
Yeah, after WrestleMania.
I don't think I could see what you're saying that, but I don't think it was them per se. It's this writing that they're giving them.
Yeah.
It must be because
I feel like they brought it back.
I still think with everything they're doing, but they were on such a high, it was going to come down a little bit until they got back on another high, and that angle hit a pause with the bloodline and everything, and then the bloodline's fighting amongst each other, so they had to find something else for them to do a little bit. And by the way, I keep forgetting we're on Facebook. I got to watch what I say sometimes. So
like what?
Keep me like, well, I don't really.
About how you like to lick toes.
I
didn't think they lost steam. I was still fully there for them. They're just getting funnier now that they're being more themselves and being less serious about taking on the bloodline and more comedy about,
but now I think because I didn't know where the bloodline thing was going to go either after that, because those were like,
I still don't know.
But I think it has been better. I think with the whole inner turmoil with the Usos, and now Solo and Roman are going to fight Sammy and Kevin for the titles at Night of the Champions. I feel like the stories have kind of.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah. What do you think about that, though?
I don't know, Ronnie. You have thoughts on like?
I would like the two of them to retain their titles, even if it's against Roman Reigns and the other one.
So the other one.
I'm on the fence with how they're going to work that, because
how are they going to work that?
Well, if they win it, they're doing it because they're trying to prove something to the Usos, the brothers, for losing. But if they don't win it, does that reunite the bloodline? Saying, okay, my bad, now let's all come back together. So I feel like it depends on how they branch off and what they do. They can go in either direction.
Yeah, I don't want Roman Reigns and Solo to have the tag team titles, but it would also be hilarious if they did, though.
See, and that's what I think. I kind of feel like they might get the titles
It would
because
be really
one,
funny.
it would piss the crowd off. Like they
Yes.
would be, totally hating it, which that's
Yes,
you
which
want
is
that
kind of
reaction.
exciting.
And I think them winning would set something up more between them
I was
and the
confused
Usos.
because it's in Saudi
yeah.
Arabia, right?
Yeah.
So
Jeddah.
Sammy's never been able to go there because he's got the Lebanese background to him.
Yeah.
And I don't know how all of a sudden, for the first time, they're just going to let him in the country when he's always been banned. But I don't know if I would want to go if I was him.
Mm-mm.
So
Right.
I
Well,
don't know how this
usually
stuff
he's just
is.
refused to go.
I mean,
Huh.
when it comes to countries at war or just conflicts, I mean it's your life at stake. I don't know if
Yeah,
I
and maybe
wouldn't go.
things might change because it's in Jeddah, and so but maybe something changes from here to there, and he can't make it, and Kevin, defends it on his own or has a special partner or something. Who
That could
knows?
happen.
Or Sammy's like maybe he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it.
I think
But
he'll be fine. It's a
Yeah.
big, huge money-making company. Nothing's going to happen to him.
let's hope.
They like
Yeah,
money more than they like anything else, just like the rest of the world.
I bet you he gets
it's very
booed.
true. Money does run the world, and
Yeah, it's too much
sad
money. They're not
sometimes.
going to fuck with him.
Yeah,
Right.
but I kind of think like Roman and Solo might win. I think it because
I think that would be so funny.
it'd get a lot of heat from the fans, and really, I think it would set up a storyline between Roman and the Usos and the dissension that might lead to SummerSlam and them winning the titles back.
Which I do not care about, but still.
But it depends on how long they want to draw that story out. If they want to draw it out and get it over with by SummerSlam pretty quickly, or do they want to draw it all the way out to WrestleMania? I don't know.
I would be 100% more interested in watching like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn like constantly be challenged by all these new like factions because they're so funny and it's been so fun watching people approach them. I would rather see that happen all the way to SummerSlam than watch like Roman Reigns and I don't care about that, but it's I
don't know. People are pretty into the bloodline thing though.
They are, but that's another thing. Roman's still a part-timer. Are we going to put 2 belts on him?
Which is funny, but why?
Well, and I think if they do that, then they probably will go the SummerSlam route and try to, not have it last as long as his reign has of the other titles. So but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
I'm interested to watch it for sure.
Yeah,
that's next Saturday, right? That's not this Saturday.
No, I don't think it's this. Yeah, it's okay. So on the night of the champions, of course, we have Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles, which I think we're all come to the conclusion that this is probably going to be Seth's, unless they like to do the old swerve. But I think we're pretty sure it's Seth's, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
What'd you say, Rod?
It's not a cool enough swerve, but
it really doesn't advance anything.
I think they put on a hell of a match, and it's over as a true champion, as the new champion. I don't think you want to do a swerve on that first run for that title.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And Seth is so over right now. Like people love to sing a song and everything. So I think it's pretty much a given that Seth Rollins walks out with that new
I agree.
Heavy championship. And then now you've got the Cody versus Brock Lesnar story that's been going on.
I still think is fun.
I think it's been a good transition for Cody after the loss to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, which may have been what he needed. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I didn't hate it when it happened myself. I thought Cody was going to win, but I didn't hate that
I thought for sure he would, but then when he didn't, like I said, I wasn't surprised. But I've been enjoying this battle back and forth much more.
And I think it's better for Cody. It gives him just to kind of show what he's made out of. So
He's still doing the chase.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I didn't hate it. I'm right there with you.
But who wins this one? Because Cody beat him the last time, and in the middle of the ring, and Brock even opened himself up the hard way. Like, who wins this one?
That's a tough one because like Brock is the one that we know is like can't fuck with this guy. So Cody can't essentially beat him because like he said, he's better than 90% of the whole roster. He can't beat him because then what? He's better than 90% of the roster? No.
Yeah, but I felt like that was Cody putting himself over. He's like, the reason Brock Lesnar gets these things because Brock Lesnar is better than 99.9% of everybody else. But I'm the guy that beat Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, did you just put yourself over? You weren't talking about Brock. You put yourself over just now.
Mm-hmm.
Old school baby faces couldn't get away with that.
No, it's like it was very.
No way.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. Like I feel like,
but also, can he lose either? Like I don't know.
I feel like he could lose this one because it's Brock Lesnar. You know,
yeah,
I mean?
And he can't win because it's Brock Lesnar. Like
I kind of feel confusing. Like Brock's gonna like lose it though, and like in a very disqualified, like just kick his butt up and down like violently. Give him his receipt for his black eye and staples in his face.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, and that's the Brock Lesnar we kind of know anyways, the just unhinged. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to fight, which is what he said. I want to fight. Yeah. Give me a fight.
I would be nervous if I was Cody.
Yeah.
For sure. And I would work Brock.
Yeah. So I don't know. That one's up in the air, but I think either way it goes, I think both are safe, obviously, of still like staying in that top tier. I feel like if Seth wins that title, though, which we know he's probably going to, that Cody beats Brock and goes after Seth because obviously they had that feud before Cody got hurt. And it was a good feud. They put on a great match, especially that last one when Cody had the whole bruised bicep or whatever was bruised on him. So I feel like that's probably to give Seth the belt just so him and Cody could reunite that way. So that's my thoughts. I don't know. What do you guys think on that?
You go ahead, man.
Do you have thoughts? Okay, you looked frozen there for a second.
I was wondering if we still had her. I mean, I agree. I'm more scared for Cody physically because even though there's a situation where he's it's a work, there's a part of the competition in Brock, and I know him, and I wouldn't put it past him busting him wide open.
Maybe, I'm genuinely scared for him for sure.
Yeah, just to start the match, just to say, look, this is what's up, and if you get back up, we'll finish this. We'll finish the match. But I could see him knocking him cold.
Absolutely. I guess I just wonder, like, okay, so he can't beat Brock maybe, but then he goes after Seth and like, well, you couldn't beat this guy and you couldn't beat that guy.
Yeah.
I
don't think. Does he go after Seth though right away?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, does he? Because
it might not be right away. Like it could be.
If he beats him, then yeah, that would be the logical thing to do.
But if Cody loses to Seth again, then that's going to bury him. He can't beat either guy on either show. And then if he beats Seth, what's that say about it's still a secondary title? So I think he needs to go after Roman somehow later.
And I do feel that way too. I think the better play for Cody would be to take the belt off of Roman. And
absolutely,
nobody else.
100. I don't think you can go a different direction.
Because I agree that it does become a secondary title if it's the consolation prize, but
that does have to be finished.
That's kind of the whole thing is you got to finish my story. So
it might be a year-long event. I mean, he might not face him until Mania next year if that was the thing.
And that very well could be the case, but like, what does he do in the meantime? Like, there's so much time there. Like,
they got to keep hot
a year. Mm. That's gonna be a lot of work. They got to put a lot of work in. Of course, we talked about the Sami and Owens versus Roman and Solo.
Sure.
Gunther versus Ali. And of course, Ali, I think Gunther retains.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
If not, if it may even be a squash. And Ali's great. Like Ali is a great in ring talent, and I doubt it'll be a squash because it's in Jeddah.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
It's going to be like Rhea
Ali
and Zelina.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
It's going to be very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, Ali's great. Like Ali is a very good in-ring talent, and before all that stuff happened with him, like the promos that he was doing on his own on his phone, and because he used to be a cop, like he's done a lot of stuff in life, and he was cutting some good stuff, and they just didn't really follow through with it. But if they could give him, because that spot that Kofi got that led Kofi to WrestleMania to win the championship, that was Ali's spot.
Yeah, I'd heard that they were gonna push him in that direction.
Yeah. Now I don't know if Ali would have made it to Mania for the title like Kofi did. And of course, Kofi had the history with the fans, so that probably helped him quite a bit. But that was Ali's spot, and he just got injured at the wrong time.
Oh, that's terrible.
No time's the right time to be injured, but like that was where they were really going to start pushing him, because that was the whole Iron Man matches, and it really made Kofi look good. So. I don't think it'll be a squash. I think it could easily be a squash, but I don't think it will be. I think he'll put on a good show, like you say, to be the Zelina.
Now Gunther's been known to he's been known to have distances with guys and smaller guys as well.
Yeah, I think the smaller guys actually make him look better.
They do. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So
he can bump with them. He could still play heel, but play big man heel, and they could tell a better story in the ring when he's in there. So I agree.
But we all Gunther retains. Is that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then you got Rhea versus Natty, Natalia. So I think we all know Rhea's going to keep.
I mean, I love Natty. Like I love everyone, but obviously no one's going to be here right now.
Yeah, I like Natty, but like there's no story there. She hasn't been back long enough to build character back or anything. So,
man, she solidified her with a veteran who's been there for 12 to 15 years. Yeah. When she on Raw last night, when she told her she was calling out her career, and then finished it off with "You won't have a career." Like,
yeah,
it was such confidence, and I thought, man, that's why she is not on her level.
Yeah, Rhea definitely. There's no way Rhea loses this.
No. Not that it matters, but no, she's not going to.
Yeah. And then the only other match that I know that's on the card is the Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. And of course Trish has been the big heel in this. So much so, like calling Becky and Seth's child stupid.
Yeah, good God.
I mean that's some heel stuff.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Man. I mean, I've got 2 daughters. That's too much.
Yeah, that was a lot. Like I was like, whoa. Of course, I'm sure they all agreed to it, because there's no way Trish said that on the fly. I'm sure she was
no way.
Hey, can I say this?
Jamin called out my father for being a drunk when he had passed, but it was said amongst us.
Oh,
yeah.
And me and Al and him, we were the only ones that knew. The boys in the back thought it was a shoe. But when it comes to the children who are young, still alive, I couldn't let that.
No.
Yeah,
I got a 21-year-old. I mean, if she knew what was up and got involved, like Dom Dom's sister, that'd be different.
Yeah.
That
was
good old Dom Dom.
That was different for me for sure. Like I didn't especially from Trish Stratus, because
how long is Trish signed for this time around?
Oh, great question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think she'll be there long. I think maybe it goes as far as SummerSlam. Now she's probably signed to like one of the legend contracts,
right?
But maybe her in ring stuff ends could end at Night of Champions, could end at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. If it's something where she's just doing this for a quick goodbye, but I don't think she wants to go out like a heel. If she's here on a year, they might prolong this a little longer after this Saudi Arabia match.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if they do that. Like, how do you feel about heel Trish, Ronnie?
It's kind of exciting.
I like heel Trish.
It's
I'm
strange.
definitely into it.
It's hot. I'm into it. I don't think she's gonna win because
Yeah.
you don't go after somebody's kids, but
No,
I'm excited about it.
unless they're going to throw some sort of surprise.
Oh, which would be great,
there.
just to keep it going for longer. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Or maybe Becky Lynch, who's I think injured, but maybe she comes out and it looks like she's going to help Becky, but then her and Trish team up again. Who knows? Because there's really
all right.
There's this story. There's not much here. I think it kind of probably about over with this storyline, so they've got to freshen it up, if anything.
Yeah.
I think.
Can they prolong it by having Lita now turn on her?
Yeah. Who did I say? I
Yes.
meant Lita. Did I say Lita?
I knew you might Lita. I'm sure.
Who did I say? Trish?
I said Trish, but I
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what I meant. Like Lita comes out and
And then she put now
Yeah.
they're double swerving her. She's
Yeah.
got to get somebody
Yeah.
back with her. You know,
Yeah.
That would be
even
great.
Charlotte coming out to help her.
yeah,
Right?
or that's of course they have some of the new talent, like Zoe Starks and
Yeah.
some of the new.
I don't know if they're on that level yet, but
now Zoe's great. Like
she's a hell of a worker. Yes,
her in-ring stuff is solid.
It's solid. It's very solid. Well, she's extremely athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, she does
Can't
things. Yeah, she does things. I mean, wrestlers, period, doesn't matter what gender you are, cannot do.
That's awesome.
And it's very impressive.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that.
And
Yeah.
she's gotten better on the mic as well.
Yeah, and that kind of was her struggle.
Right.
So I think there needs to be something that for that match to really, unless they just want to give Becky the victory and kind of move her forward into the picture with Rhea or whatever.
Let's drag this out for a little while.
Tori Jones says, "Can we please redesign some of these dated belt designs? Do you all not like the way that some of the belts look? Or?
I don't care.
It's
the old, because obviously the new championship is going for the old big gold kind of feel.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I've been around since watching wrestling since the '80s, and I mean I've seen belts to me they're old school, and I guess people who've been watching it for 10 years, maybe these belts are outdated, but I still think they're kind of newer versions. But it doesn't matter to me. I mean, as long as they're making money and they're getting themselves over, I don't think that matters.
Yeah, I don't hate the belts. I don't hate the new big gold.
The tag team belts, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt me to see some updated stuff, but obviously the belts, they make the belts the way they make the belts in order to sell merchandise.
Merch.
The product, right? Itself.
Yeah, so that's they don't bother me either way, but I kind of liked the old gimmick belts with the spinner belt and the smoking skull belt, and I thought that stuff was fun because it brought in the personality of the the person holding it. Eric Montgomery says, "What's up, Smooth Johnny Spade and Rockstar Ronnie Jonah?"
What's up, Eric?
Says Johnny Spade hates Pretty Fly for a white guy theme.
Oh, for crying out loud! That's a gimmick that WWE gave me when they first took over the developmental territory, and after I got myself over, I was able to go heel when I did that angle with Jim Cornette, and I was able to, hey man, can I get the name Smooth back and get rid of this Pretty Fly shit?
Yeah,
and,
so you were not a fan.
No, but I didn't know how to take it either. I was like, man, do I need to over embellish my character as a wannabe or something? And he goes, I'll just keep being you. I'm like, well, fuck, is that an insult?
What does that mean? Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
Nice.
Like, what does that mean?
Just keep being you.
Yeah. I was like, fuck.
That's funny.
So I was happy to get the name back, but thanks for bringing it up, Eric. Now, thanks for listening.
So talking about like the history of some wrestling stuff, and now the kind of the future of wrestling, CM Punk and AEW. So obviously there was a lot of stuff going on over there with Punk and his real life feud with some of the top talent over there. And so now, so much so that Punk wants to come back, but they're just going to give him a whole new show. It's going to be like,
wait, what?
It's instead of Dynamite and Rampage, they're going to do a new show called Collision, and it's going to be like base
2
for me.
hours on a Saturday night.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
going to be Punk's.
cool.
Basically, it's Punk's show.
Yeah,
It is.
they're going to do like a brand split, Ronnie,
Huh.
and
It's
Punk's going to be the mainstay on that one. And I think the people he had issues with are going to stay mostly on Dynamite, the Elite.
yeah.
So everyone else in the
Which
world.
I like AEW. I watch it. So if anybody has any questions out there, I mean, Jason's a historian, but I've been keeping up with it. So feel free to ask. I like AEW. I like what they're doing. And I like that the boys have another place in the ladies. But we say boys because Ronnie knows that's just what you call the locker room. But they all the workers and all your peers have another place to work, make money, take care of their families, and showcase what they can do. So I love AEW and what they're doing. I'm not one of those people who choose one or the other.
No.
I like both, and I like wrestling. Period.
I think it's fun. All the ones I've watched. I haven't watched.
Yeah.
I don't watch it regularly, but every time I have watched it, it's been really fun.
So the matches and the freedom that they have on AEW is something I really enjoy. It's kind of the disconnect of the stories and really like prolonging the stories. They just don't have that.
It makes
And of course
it harder to
WWE,
connect to.
yeah, and WWE is just such a machine, anyways, of how it runs and how it does business. And I think anybody that's ever worked for WWE and any other company, they've all said there's nothing like working for the WWE. It's just the way. It's just
I like
a
AEW and how it is so like unhinged, kind of, but also it doesn't draw you in. At least it hasn't. You know how wrestling gets you by you keep watching it, and then you see that thing, like the Judgment Day, where you're like, okay, I'm in. I've watched it a handful of times, and I've never seen anything that I'm like, I need to come back for that. But it's still fun to watch whenever I'm watching it.
It reminds me of the old when they, like TBS, when you had Ric Flair and Sting and the Horsemen and the Road Warriors, and that product. I was like, man, this is a whole new thing, and I fell in love with that too. And it was just wrestling, period. It's definitely got a bigger feel than like Memphis with Lawler, but I mean, I love that. I was just a huge fan of wrestling itself, and if a storyline draws me in on one show, everything around it, I start seeing other things that I'm like, this is good too. I got to keep an eye on this.
Yeah. I just wish they would really kind of get their stories together, because I think it could very, very much be the rival to WWE that they want to be. If they could really start like building talent and stories and making people connect with them more than they do, because the in-ring stuff is a blast. Like I love
Well, they got that Wembley Stadium too coming up. I know we're getting probably near the end here, but we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in the future. But they've already sold 65,000 tickets for the 90,000 seat arena. Nice. I don't know of too many companies that have done that other than WWE in the modern era.
That's a task, and a lot of people were trying to call them out, like and because wrestling fans can be, and we're like, how are you're not going to be able to do that? Oh, you sold this many tickets already, and just saying they were lying or whatever, and then now it's up to 65,000 tickets, and they're not even anywhere close to the event yet. So
that's silly. That's just people.
I do believe it'll sell out. So
I think it'll do well if close to it. I think it'll get over 80 and possibly sell out. Yes.
Yeah, it's I don't know what the matches are going to be yet. Obviously, it's still a long time coming. But I mean, that's probably one of the reasons you bring a CM Punk back after all that.
Sure.
I'm just so confused, like all that kind of drama, and there's no way that drama exists in WWE. Like you do the stuff that was done like that, you're probably all gone out the door.
That got blown up, and I'm trying to figure it out because I've seen fights in the back with workers, man.
Yeah.
And it happens, and they acted like this is the only time something like that's ever happened. Well, that's just not true. I've seen it firsthand. It didn't get blown up to that level.
Yeah, and I think that's like social media is such a big thing now. With wrestling, that it really kind of drew it out, and AEW's really had a lot of drama to deal with
lately. Yeah,
and just to.
But how much
create
of
a
it is blown up?
create a whole entire show around a guy because other talent doesn't get along with him is nuts to me.
I think that's fucking wild.
Yeah, but it's CM Punk, and with the Wembley thing, they're probably like, well, we want to sell tickets, and he sells tickets. Like you can't deny it. Like it's a
Sure.
thing. You can be a fan or not, and I'm not necessarily a big fan of CM Punk. Not a you know. I
It's
appreciate.
wild that people still are.
Yeah. I appreciate kind of what he has done, but then the way things went, I was like, I don't know. Punk seems like a punk to me. But that's me not knowing him, so I don't know.
That's fair.
But I think you need him, especially to sell tickets, and then you've
Business
got
wise, yes, for sure.
yeah, and I think like you've got people like Moxley and Jericho, and then of course
Kenny Omega,
Kenny
the Bucks,
Omega,
right.
yeah,
Which I know they didn't come from WWE, but they've made a name
they're
for
big
themselves.
stars, yeah.
They're big names. I mean, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and they're gonna pull some Forbidden Door stuff too, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And so I'm sure it's going to be a good event because like their events and their matches and the whole atmosphere is a blast. I just want more story from them. I want more of a connection to everybody and
I would really appreciate that. Yeah.
People like Ricky Starks and stuff because I love Ricky Starks. I like his old kind of flamboyant kind of feel to him, but I don't know that they've really given him that vehicle to really run with it. So I don't know. That's and maybe Collision helps. Maybe they really start like
they've got a lot of talent.
They have so much talent. Like
they've got a lot of talent, and they don't have a lot to do with something like and Miro, for instance. He's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a name himself.
I really loved his stuff that he was doing. The disciple. What was it? Like with the stuff where he's talking to God and all that stuff. Like I liked the way he was like delivering all that stuff. Like
he's got a good job.
Your mic went funky.
Wow.
Yeah,
audio's kind of fucked right now.
Yeah.
He's athletic as hell for a big guy, kind of like Joe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of Samoa Joe. Adam Cole is one of my favorites.
Oh, absolutely. Both of those guys.
He's been one of my favorites. I didn't know who he was until I saw him in NXT because I wasn't very familiar with like indie stuff.
He was on Spring Fire cards, man. He's solid.
Yeah, he's one of my absolute favorites. So I'm looking forward to their build with him. And then I guess the only other thing that's really been going on in the news is like the Randy Orton news. The doctors advised him maybe not to wrestle.
Maybe not to.
Yeah. And I think you might actually turned your mic off there, Johnny.
Am I off?
Oh, there you go.
You're back on. There you go.
Yeah. I wasn't speaking. I might look like I was about to. Yeah, man.
I don't know because I think it's one of those things they didn't tell him not to, in the sense of like Daniel Bryan or an Edge. They said, but probably he was advised maybe he shouldn't.
Correct. Yeah, he was advised to. Look, man,
he doesn't need to. Like he's a guy. He's taking care of himself.
Got plenty of money.
Yeah.
He's a family man now, and he's a totally different person than when I knew him, and we've all grown. And it's just I would rather see him be healthy. But at the end of the day, everybody selfishly would love to see him wrestle again.
Yeah,
he's one of the greatest, I think. But like I think any of you with any friends, if you came to me and something was going on, I'd say take care of your health. Health always should come first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Same.
Yeah, I hope he can. If he wants to come back, I hope he can do it safely, and maybe, at least end it on the way he wants to end it.
Yeah,
kind of like Edge, and maybe this is, if he does come back, maybe it'll be his last run. I know he's having a lot of fun with Matt Riddle.
Oh, that was so fun.
They were supposed to break them up a long time ago, and they even did it on like a Raw. Orton RKO'd Matt Riddle, and that was supposed to be the split. But then the next episode, Randy was like, I have too much fun with this guy. So they immediately got him back together. And Randy was like, that was just to teach you a lesson. And Matt was like, it's cool,
Okay.
bro. And then they just
Sure,
got
he
back
did.
together. It was
Sure, he
pretty
was
fun.
having fun
Oh,
on the
that was
road with
fun.
it too.
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee you they were having a good time.
Yeah.
And Riddle's back, and Riddle might need that build again with him. I mean, Riddle's
know.
over.
He seems to
like
be
people,
doing all right.
people like him, but I think people really liked RK Bro. So
I
It
think
was
he's
over.
doing all right so far. I think he's fun to watch.
yeah,
He
no,
flipped his shoe.
If he can get out of the
when he flipped his
negativity,
shoes at Gunther, yeah.
if he can get out of the negativity that he's had outside of the ring, which we've all been immature and done stupid things, hopefully he's learned from it. And I don't know the ifs, ands, and buts around that, but when you hear some of the things, they're not very positive. And I think as long as he stays on the straight and narrow, I think the sky's the limit for him.
I believe he's one of those guys that's really just got to get out of his own way and
Sure.
really let that.
I know a lot
stuff
about
go.
that, so I understand that.
Yeah, and we all
all
have
of
our
us.
demons and our problems. So if Matt
Sure.
Riddle can get past that stuff, and I hope that he can. He definitely has a future. I think he could have a big future if he could really get past that stuff because the fans like
I
him.
think too. Yeah, he is really fun to watch.
Yeah, he's definitely over. He's over.
He's just so different. I mean, he's Rob Van Dam, but Rob Van Dam was always so different too. So
yeah, I see that.
I can see that. Yeah, they've got that shoot style.
Yeah, so I'm. I don't know. I hope he does well. I hope Randy does well. I'm, looking forward to what's coming with Night of the Champions. See what comes out of that because really, I think Night of the Champions is the final reset. I think Night of the Champions, you get the new world title, you put everybody in place on the board, and this is how the stories start moving forward. I think right after this, it's my opinion. That's what I think is going to happen after Night of the Champions.
I'd like to see it move forward, and we'll have many conversations about Randy. This is for those of you just watching. It's the start of the news, and we're just catching wind of it. So we're just hoping for the best.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna come back with Heat Magnets episode. Looks like every Tuesday. I think we've agreed on, and we'll probably do other shows in between that. But Tuesday is really going to be the main show to talk about everything that's happened within the last week of wrestling. So So anybody have any final thoughts they wanna put out there?
No, I look forward to it. I think all three of our input. It just makes it fun. This is episode 1. I'm excited about this, and I love just having this conversation with you guys and being able to kind of let the rest of the world see it and hear it and kind of chime in with us.
Yeah, definitely. And Ronnie, any thoughts?
Oh, just Rhea Ripley forever.
That's a good one.
I think we could all agree with that. I'm looking forward to doing this, and we'll have it a little bit more formatted as we go. We're going to work out all the kinks and really kind of get a good flow going, and because we all like to talk about wrestling and keep up with it. So we hope you all join us for the next one. So come back next Tuesday, and we'll keep you posted as things move forward when we're going to put out some new content. So so I think that's it for us tonight, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good one, guys. Y'all take care.
Yep. Everybody have a good night, and we will see you next show. Bye-bye.